Hey everybody, how's it going? Here's a little update of what's going on. Going through and re-changing out the driver's side wheel bearing. I changed out the passenger side a few months ago, and the bearing I had was still under warranty, so I was able to take it back to AutoZone and swap it out for this one. And AutoZone only has a 1-year warranty on these particular type of bearings. So I was able to score out. Instead of spending another $32 on a bearing, I was able to take the one that came out of that passenger side, take it in and get a new one. So now I got brand new bearings on the back, and the cheap ones, I paid $32 for these. Complete set, both of them. Normally you pay about $40 to $80 for one, but I paid $32 for two of these, and I see why. They have the same part number and everything. 105, 105. Yeah, only part number that's missing from this one will be that, but the little 105 still there. So yeah, these are some cheap ass bearings. And what I noticed with bearings, like it's kind of with skateboard bearings, same similar idea. When I had my skateboard bearings that had these sides, the actual little rubber gasket, so you can pop them out, spray them out, and then repack them with grease and everything, which is really nice when you have skateboard bearings and you run them for a long period of time. But I noticed the ones that had this little piece on it always actually fell apart. Like the actual race inside here will crack and the whole thing will fall apart. Where every skateboard bearing I had that was this style, I never actually had that problem. So I'm thinking that metal ring actually does do a big support. But now I got a new set of bearings, so I shouldn't have to worry about that. And I went through and re-bled the brake system yesterday, so now all the brakes are finally bled. You guys have no idea what that looks like. The oil cooler almost looks like an intercooler, if you mount it in the right spot. But new transmission fluid, new brake fluid, new clutch fluid. Flushed it all out, got new fluid on all calipers, so it's all perfectly legit. But these are kind of the tools that I used to actually do this. Freaking cheap ass jack given out already. Don't buy these, they're garbage. I had this for about 2 months and it already goes bad. It's already dropping. But the easiest way to remove the bearing, like if you don't have a press or any of the specialty tools, the easiest way, still leave the hub attached to the car, undo the socket undo this 32mm nut, undo the hub and everything else, undo your brake caliper, and then you can actually put a crowbar in between the fork over here. You put a crowbar in between this and pop this out. And then once you actually pop this out, one of those bearings are going to stay attached to this. You can either cut it with the cutoff wheel and you have a chance of doing that, or where is it? I don't have it. Special little bearing puller. This is the most awesome tool ever. Oh, wrong door. That door. Godzilla one for Godzilla bearings, a small one for normal size bearings. But this little piece right here can pop that off, and then once you get it off with this, you can use a 3-jaw puller to pull it off the rest of the way, or use your traditional cutoff wheel. And then for pressing it back in, I currently don't have access to a press right now, so my way of doing it, you'll stick the bearing inside the freezer for about at least an hour or two, pull out the other one, clean it out, spray a little bit of lubricant on it so it slides in easier, and then you just want to find something that's the same diameter of this outer race right here. As long as you can find something that's the same diameter as this, so when you go to press it in, you're not hitting this piece, or inside here, you're actually hitting the ring, it slides right in. My option was an 8-pound dumbbell that the end comes unscrewed. But if you tell, it is basically a dead perfect lineup. That's what I use to pretty much press this in. And one way to press it out, if you have a brake rotor like this, and you have pretty much the same type of tooling, something that's around the same outside, or actually when it goes to press it out, you don't have to have something around the same outside diameter. You need something that can fit at least on this ring to press it out. And then the way to do it, if you look on this brake rotor, pull the snap ring out, place it down on the rotor like this, hammer the back of this down until it actually starts coming out flush, And then once it comes out flush with it, the bearing is the same size as this hole. So as the bearing comes out, it will fit inside here and not going to go anywhere. So you can slowly press it all the way out and get it 100% out. And one thing I noticed about cheap bearings, the reason why you can get them so cheap, if you look on the inside, that race that holds all those bearings is supposed to be made out of metal. It's made out of plastic. That's why these bearings were so damn cheap. That's how stuff is getting cheaper. What used to be made with good qualities, they figured out how to cut back. I'm pretty sure they saved 10-20 cents off of this right here being rubber instead of metal, and that ring on the inside, they probably saved another 10-20 cents per bearing. And if you add that up by the millions, then that equals out to a lot. That's their whole idea out of it, which is bullshit. But back to pressing it back in. Once you get done with all that, press the bearing out, flip it over. Lines up perfect, holds it. And use this with a trusty 6-pound sledgehammer that's made by HKS. Kind of funny. But use that and this, press it right in all the way, and then now that I got that step in, the next step is need to find something that fits on the inside of this that can pass all of this, so this whole thing can flip upside down and pretty much be resting on this little ridge right here. You need something to hold that, and then once you actually flip it over and you start pressing this bearing into it, now you don't have to worry about pressing the bottom bearing out, because if you go to press it in like this, sure, it's going to slide into this one the way it's supposed to, but what it's actually going to do is push the back side out, and it will literally come out like that. That's what's going to do on the opposite side. So you need something around this diameter to actually hold the back of it as you hammer it in. Same idea, same way you'll do it if you had the press, but this is the way of doing it without the press. You get new CV axle nuts. They'll come with the new CV axles, and you can tell that is from a little bit of that clunking is the CV axle, not at this end, but at the other end over there, and also where the CV axle pretty much shaft goes into the differential, because inside the diff I didn't shim up the spider gears tight enough, and that's the result of the spider gears not being tight enough but the clutch pack being over tight, which is good for the clutch pack because that means it bites the way I want it to, but now that's what I gotta deal with, and it's annoying. And the stupid max speeding rods coilovers took a shit on me. This is the thing I find funny. I got a hold of these people, took a picture of this, showed them like all the things, like, hey, you know, I bought this from you guys on February 25th of this year. So these are like 2-3 months old. Told them, hey, you know, they're still under warranty. Can I get a replacement, and how do we go about this? They said, sure, no problem. We'll send you 2 replacement struts, because this one is blown and my front passenger one is blown. So they said, we'll send you 2 front struts, no charge or nothing like that, but you have to pay $70 for shipping. I am not paying $70 for shipping on something that was free under warranty, and this product altogether was $190 for all 4 of these bastards, free shipping. I'm not going to pay half the price just for shipping, supposedly, for them to cover their losses, because they're selling garbage. They need to hold up to the warranty, and if they don't, then that's why they get bad reviews, and that's why this coil company is considered garbage. Oh, and one other thing. One of these bolts right here, that bolt actually backed off. When I was bleeding the brakes the other day, went through, that one was loose, that one was loose, the one on the back was tight, and this one literally was all the way down to like almost flush with this bolt. That's how far it backed out. So these max speeding rod coilovers are honestly the cheapest piece of craps on the planet, but for the price tag, I say they're kind of worth it, especially, say if you have a car that has cut springs on it, blown out struts, it runs like crap, you can't even drive it on the freeway without getting into an accident because it's floating everywhere, then these will be worth it. Other than that, I'll say save a little bit of money, go with a pair of Racelands, or was it Evo 5 or Evo 8? Not Max Speeding Rod, these are the garbage ones. What the hell is it? Megan Racing, all those other ones are around $400 to $800. Those ones would be better than these, and if you actually got the money, then buy the BC Racing coilover stance. I mean, there's a bunch of out there that are out there, but they start getting up there in price tag. So I suggest only go for these if you're on a super strict budget, or you're just trying to get something in the meantime until you can save up the money to actually buy a good set. Then that's where these will be good for. Other than that, these are fucking garbage. Don't suggest them to anyone. Let's a little heads up what's going on. Looks like that quit leaking. Everything in here is looking pretty good. I went to a tire shop. Was going to get a set of tires for $60 mounting and balancing. The tires they tried that were on the article weren't even the ones they tried to sell me. After being there for 2.5 hours and 3 different sets of tires and another extra $30, $90 altogether, I get a PF 7000 made by whoever the hell this is. And then a Continental. I wanted 245, 35, 18. And this is what they pulled out and gave me. The first set of tires they pulled out had a bubble on the side, and the tread was actually getting ready to rip apart. So when you looked at it, it actually looked like a tidal wave across the top of the tread pattern. The second set of tires they pulled out were a set of Firestones, which were the ones on the article that I was trying to purchase. They each had a bubble on the side of that, on them about that big, on both sides of the tire. So those are garbage. And then eventually, after going through hassling with them, dealing with their bullshit, another 30 minutes later, they came out with this crap. And by then, I was done. I just want to get the hell out of there. I suggest don't go to tire shops on the corners. And if you do, look at the tires before and after they put them on your car. Because when I was looking at them, they look like they're perfectly fine tires. As soon as they mounted and balanced them and put air inside them, that's when all the problems started to show. And what I meant by a tidal wave, if you look at this tire is completely flat. When they're starting to separate, you will look at this and it'll have mountain dip back down and go back up like that. Like this whole little thing looked like a tidal wave. That's how those tires were. So I should suggest don't go that route. But other than that, it's fitting pretty good all the way around. I'm going to get back to smashing this bearing in, and then once it's all done, have this video, another one coming up shortly. If you like what you see, don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a good one.